destruction! Watch the Great!
Apollousa, bow of the goddess, stand ready!
And Emperor Charles the Great, the shield of resolve!
This field will break beneath us!
Not today! We hold the
They
line!
activate Mulcharmy Fuwalos!
Graveyard disruption.
Prepare for battle, my warriors. We must hold the enemy off by summoning Our Lady Isolde to bring forth more noble knights for protection. Rally to the line and brace for the first assault. Isolde calls her vanguard. Shining steel and steadfast shields answer her call. Hold the formation, every life point matters. Every block counts. We must stall and buy time to bring in the beyond of the pendulum. Focus your energies on the ritual. Chant and channel. Do not let the enemy break our circle. Beyond the pendulum awakens, a bridge between dusk and dawn, and its power reaches into the heavens. With the pendulum's grace, we shall call back what was lost. Now, together, lift your voices, we shall revive our virgin goddess, Apollousa, bow of the goddess from the heavens. Let her light strike true, let her bows bind their fate, and let our nation stand unbroken. Watch the great Apollousa, bow of the goddess, stand ready, and Emperor Charles the Great, the shield of resolve. This field will break beneath us. Not today. We hold the line. They activate Mulcharmy Fuwalos. Mulcharmy Fuwalos resolves. Graveyard disruption, everything's at risk. Battle stations, focus on negation and protection. Apollousa, prepare your bonds. If I can chain Apollousa's effect to lock that activation, we can stall. You think one effect will stop the avalanche? Watch closely. The field floods with threats. Varieties of cards sweep toward the field. Mulcharmy spreads attacks on the grave, search chains, summon pushes. Emperor Charles the Great, your timing is everything. If you negate the activation, we neutralize the chain and deny their tempo. Understood. I will stand between the surge and our strategy. Apollousa, bow of the goddess, activate effect. Bind the threat. Apollousa activates. Targeting the activation, a chain forms. You'll need more than that. I'll resolve an additional effect to bypass your link. Emperor Charles the Great. Quick response, negate that resolution. Emperor Charles the Great negates the activation. You wasted a negate now. Watch my follow-up. I summon a wave of support cards to reclaim advantage. Every move you make, we counter. Apollousa, extend your blessing, have their tempo, steal their momentum. I'll push through with a combo chain. A chain of plays. Mulcharmy attempts to reassert, but Emperor Charles defends the field, negating key links and crippling the combo. Now, finish this with precision. We strike the heart of their strategy. I activate the final sequence, Apollousa's final bow, target their main engine, remove and negate. No, my graveyard plays are gone. My options collapse. With coordinated negation and timely protection, the duel turns. Emperor Charles and Apollousa neutralize Mulcharmy Fuwalos and every card that tried to break their line. Hold steady. We defend our great N.
The architects of this universe intervened and cast Apollousa, bow of the goddess, out of the very lands that once summoned her, for her power had grown beyond governance. She became an overwhelming force that even the greatest champions led by Max CC and his ally Mulcharmy Fuwalos could not subdue. Councils of guardians gathered in shadowed halls. Laws were rewritten. The rights that once called her home were sealed to restore a fragile equilibrium. Across the realm, the reaction was thunderous and conflicted relief that battles might again hinge on skill and guile, and disbelief that a single being could eclipse strategy and choice. Max CC, humbled yet determined, replayed each encounter in endless scrutiny, searching for an overlooked path to victory. Artisans and tinkerers of Mulcharmy's design retreated to their forges, reimagining strengths and weaknesses in the hopes of one day challenging such dominance. Every arena shifted. Casual skirmishes dimmed without her silhouette. Fan shrines mourned. Relic hunters prized any trace of her influence. Chroniclers replayed old duels to dissect the moments that forced the creator's hand. A new breed of theorists arose, engineering counters, variants, and local rules that captured the epic thrill of those clashes without allowing any single presence to decide a fate. Secret circles and nostalgic leagues preserved her memory behind closed doors, while sanctioned competitions blossomed with fresh strategies built to survive in her absence. Over time, the world rebalanced, but the legend of Apollousa endured a luminous warning that absolute power rewrites the laws of its realm, and that preservation of the game depends on a delicate pact between design, authority, and the people who play. The world adjusted, but the echoes of that decision did not fade. In the quiet between tournaments, small gatherings replayed the duels that had led to the exile clips looped, commentators dissected, and veterans recounted how a single light had fallen across entire battlefields. Apollousa's absence became a living test. Designers, duelists, and dreamers all measured the health of the realm by how well matches now resolved without her shadow. Max CC withdrew to a lab of thought and steel, poring over sequences until the lines of play blurred. He accepted the verdict with a warrior's pride, not surrender. His mind bent toward innovation rather than blame. Mulcharmy's architects, chastened and curious, reworked their craft, softening some edges and sharpening others, so their creations could survive in a world that would no longer tolerate singular dominance. The clash that birthed the band became a workshop for resilience rather than a tomb for ambition. Underground, ritualized rematches kept Apollousa's legend warm. In candlelit rooms and grainy live streams, players agreed to hushed rules that let her return for one last, bittersweet set of shows. Those matches were less about victory and more about memory, how plays once perfect could look different when context and consequence were restored. Fans who had once cheered her every appearance now watched with mixed reverence and relief, understanding that legend and balance cannot always coexist. In the halls of governance, where lawmakers once sealed the rights, debates continued. Were bans permanent absolutes or living tools of stewardship? New policies emerged, temporary suspensions tied to measurable impact, rotating prohibitions, and pathways for redemption that required measured nerfs or narrative reckonings. The architects who'd cast her out did not revel in authority. They learned that stewardship demanded transparency, humility, and a willingness to revise.
A drummer boy.